Hello everyone and welcome to episode 3 of TSW, the Singapore Healing Diaries. I'm with Jing.
Hello, I'm TSW_trooper_SG.
Oh yeah, add her on Instagram. So we're here in the botanical gardens again. Hopefully you can see some beautiful flowers behind us. We are going to answer some questions that you guys have asked online. Now we can answer that one.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go first.
No, you can go first. Well, I didn't really have a turning point. It just became a realization that steroids were not working, and also it kind of made it worse. Like every time I came off it, it came back with a vengeance. So I felt like there was something off there. There was something wrong with the steroids that I'm putting that made me feel like I should not continue using it anymore, and that's when I decided no more.
Yeah, I mean, my skin was getting really bad across my back and my thighs. I'd kind of come out in this weird rash, and I was kind of getting to my later 20s, and I was like, I need to find a way to heal myself naturally. And then I found medical medium, and then there was someone on his page that had like the hashtag topical steroid withdrawal, and I was like, holy shit, like this is what I've got. So, and that was it.
That's hard. I feel like communication is key. When you can't cope or you need some alone time, just tell your partner and try to explain what you are feeling. I think it's quite difficult for your partner to imagine what it feels like having your skin flaking, oozing, and what it does to your self-esteem and what it can do to the relationship. Like, you can't do anything normal. Like, for example, even taking a walk in a park together is very uncomfortable. Even cuddling is uncomfortable because there's ooze all around. So I think communicating your needs to your partner is the most important thing. And if you get frustrated, maybe just take some time away and come back and tell him nicely instead of, shouting or getting into an argument.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say much more than that. That was pretty spot on. And find different ways to show your love. Obviously being physical is quite difficult. So finding different ways to show love. Like, I remember me and BB would just end up giving me like a foot rub or something, and like you just have different ways to like show that.
Yeah, and different ways of spending time together. Like, if you can't meet, you can always be on a phone call. That's what me and my boyfriend always do. And sometimes we game together. So instead of doing things in real life, we play computer games together.
Do you do that sexy reality thing?
No. Purely PG games.
PG-13.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a really difficult question to answer. I think if you're using steroids which are in the top 3 level of potency, so I think you've got 7 different levels of potency. If you're in the top level, so maybe clobetasol or something like
betamethasone, Elomet, Dermovate. Yeah.
If you're using those top 3, I mean, months. I've seen people use it for months and come off of TSW. I think if the lower end, you probably have to use for quite a while. So, I mean, it's all depending on each person and how much they use. But those top 3 potencies, yeah, be careful.
And I have to mention that not just steroids, it's also protopic. It's also a type of immunosuppressant cream. So I have a friend, she knew that I was going through TSW and she didn't want to use steroids. So she used protopic without knowing that it is also addictive and can have withdrawal effects. And she was very careful with it. She used it only 1 week at a time, and then she took a break. And then it was on and off for 2 months, and she still developed mild TSW skin. So I would say try to use as little as possible, and if you can, just find the allergen or the trigger for your skin issue instead of relying on the steroids to suppress it instead.
Yeah, that's the dream.
Yeah.
So I had a few questions about this before I got here because my eye area during TSW was quite bad, and I was like thinking, how the fuck do they do this with the laser? Like, is it like zzz, like am I gonna like burn my eyes out? But it's not like that at all. It's literally just like I said, like a tiny little pen, and the end of it kind of like goes zzz.
Yeah, they kind of like draw on your eye like this.
Yeah.
So it keeps going over the eyelid and then under the eye like this, and then all around your face. So it's like a very gentle swipe over your eyelids. Yeah, and it does help the eye. Like my eyelids used to be like cracked and totally swollen, and now they look fine. They blink fine. I no longer have watery eyes. Yeah, so it works.
Yep. It's just a bit sensitive.
Yeah.
Good question. I think TSW has a few characteristics which are very similar from each person to the next. One of those would be the red sleeves. I use the term red sleeves loosely because on different skin colours it's different. But so it's basically like a sleeve which kind of starts here and kind of ends here. I'll put a picture up of what mine look like, and Jing's as well. And also the start of TSW, we kind of share the same characteristic of all being very red and swollen and very hot, but feeling the cold a lot. So it's kind of like taking that eczema up another level, and it becomes something quite systemic.
Yeah,
Systemic. And like a whole body experience.
Yeah. I also feel like you can tell when it comes back even worse. Like if you put a steroid and it comes back worse, I feel like that's already a telltale sign. And also usually eczema are in like localized areas. They're not like spreading all over your body. They happen where like the skin is sensitive to something, or something touches it and it reacts in just that area. But if you see it starting to spread for no apparent reason, then I think it could be TSW.
Yeah, TSW seems to creep from, well, mine kind of crept from the top of my head all the way down and spread kind of like everywhere. And it's this unusual thick red skin.
Yeah, and also it happens in like the very fragile areas of your skin. So the places where it appears to spread first are usually like the eyelids, the elbows, the back of the knees, the ankles, and the neck. So even though you have applied like steroids, like maybe in just one area like your face, if you start getting them in these areas as well for no reason, it could also be TSW.
The treatment we're having is regenerative laser therapy. So I think it's also, we're also getting a blue light.
Yeah,
like
it's called like high pulse blue laser
high pulse
therapy.
Yeah, and it's, as far as I'm aware, it's not available in the US or the UK. It would be my dream for it to be available there. Singapore seems to be quite far advanced in medical technology, so I think that's probably why they've got it here and not anywhere else. I think it is their dream, as well as mine, for them to have a branch in the UK and in the US, but these things are difficult and it's a controversial issue. So until TSW is recognised, there won't be a treatment for it.
I guess it depends on where you apply the steroids, and also the skin on our neck and our face are way thinner, so I think it's more susceptible to having damaged skin on the neck and the face.
Yeah, I think also when you look at a map of where the easy parts for steroids to be absorbed through the skin, the face, especially the eyelids, is one of the main areas of high absorption. So if you're putting it on your eyelids, I think that one's about 35% absorption compared to like maybe 5% on your arms. So that it goes straight into the skin and the skin cells and then through to the blood thing. Yeah, good question. I think I've heard there's about 1 million of us, but I don't like data where I don't know where it's come from. But based on Facebook groups and Instagram, I can guess I can see about 20,000, and that's just people that are online. So I'm going to say in the 100,000s.
Yeah, and I feel like there are many more people with mild ones that do not know what they are suffering from. Yeah. Or even people with severe ones that do not know that they are suffering from this and are not online or seeking the appropriate help. So I would say way more than the numbers that we see right now.
Yeah. I think to support you, your partner can ask you what you need, emotionally or physically, and then maybe they can ask you what they can do to help. They can maybe ask you if you need space, but it's quite difficult for them. I think that communication has to be both ways as well. What can they do to help? I think like most boyfriends or girlfriends will wash a partner's hair when they can't wash their hair, or give foot rubs, or make dinner, or just do those simple things that we just can't do during TSW.
Yeah, doing dishes, cooking, buying food for us.
Just treat us like queens.
Yeah.
Just poorly queens.
Vacuuming the floor.
Vacuum up the flames.
Yeah.
And cleans.
Doing the laundry. Yeah. Just daily practical things that could help us.
Okay, cool. I'm going to let Jing answer this one because she's been in TSW, in and out of TSW for 8 years, so she's got way more experience than me.
I would say mental preparation is the most important thing. Knowing that you should, keeping faith that you will recover eventually, and not doubting the process. So that really helps, because throughout this journey there will be many people who will tell you that you should be doing this, doing that, and you'll be swayed by them, or they will tell you that you cannot recover, or you're looking so bad, or you should not be out. And so I think mental strength is the number one thing. Knowing that you will recover, you can recover, and not to be swayed by anybody else's opinion of you and what you have chose to do. I think it is very easy to be tempted to go back to steroids for whatever reason. And I know there are people who have gone back because they have to get on with life. They have children to take care of, and there's no judgment for that. Just know that once you make a choice to do something, it's not because of anybody else's opinion. And I think for physical preparation, buy lots of cotton clothing, loose ones, long sleeved, short sleeved, same for pants as well. Buy lots of saline solution so you can cleanse your skin whenever needed. And I would think actually doing NMT or doing nothing is best. Just letting the skin breathe. Yeah. Don't put anything on your skin. I realized that in my first flare, when I recovered, I did not do anything to my skin and I recovered very quickly. But in my second flare, I put on moisturizers and I took forever to heal. I was like in it for 3 to 4 years and I still had not healed, and I even developed like thickened skin, hardened skin from the moisturizer. So I think doing nothing, staying resolute is the best, and also get the support that you need. So if you're working right now, tell your bosses that you need time off, and tell your family that you may not be able to attend gatherings for now for an extended period of time. and so they can visit you instead. Same for your friends. Yeah, so these are things that you can prepare for.
Yeah. Jing, you want to go first?
I felt like I was already in TSW for 7 years and I was in my longest flare. I tried every single thing. So I've tried traditional Chinese medicine, I've tried bioresonance, I've tried hypnotherapy, something like that. I've tried all sorts of things, like even changing my diet to a vegan or vegetarian diet. It didn't help. In fact, they all kind of stopped working and I was really lost at that point of time. And when I found out about this treatment, I was like, oh, I saw that people have healed from it, and I was, I had nothing to lose. Like, why not? And if there was a doctor, and Dr. J, he knew exactly what he was talking about. When he told me I had topical steroid withdrawal, I was shocked. Like, it is the first time I heard from a medical professional that, I have TSW and it's not just severe eczema or any other kind of skin problem. He knew what he was talking about, and that really convinced me to try the treatment.
Yeah, so I think the reason why I decided to go for it is because my mum had laser therapy 30 years ago for a birthmark that she had on her leg, and it completely removed it, and she's had perfect skin ever since. So I couldn't really argue with the science of it, and there's been a few kind of things that I have been able to argue with the science of it, like pseudoscience, like celery juice and all of that kind of stuff. If that's your game, then great, but I just couldn't understand the science. But when I was like looking into the laser and how it works and how it regenerates the cells that have been broken down by steroids, I thought, okay, like, sounds good, it's working for people out here, so why not give it a go? I mean, I had a big house deposit that I'd been saving up, and I was like, well, I might as well use that, come and stay in Singapore and get better. So. Did you have an online consultation?
I didn't have one online one, but I went there for consultation, and it totally changed my mind, like, about TSW. Like, I thought everything that I knew about TSW was totally, like, transformed. Like, back then when I was in TSW and didn't know about their theory, I thought it was like something to do with the diet, leaky gut, and I was just really confused. Like, I didn't know why, despite changing my diet, it was not getting better. So I feel like it really changed my perspective of what TSW actually is, which is like the skin cells being suppressed to the point where it cannot regenerate as fast, and thus our healing rate is so slow, and also our skin is so reactive to every single thing. Yeah, and that's the main issue.
I had an online consultation. It was at a really weird time because obviously the time difference here from the UK is 8 hours. So me and Mum were up in the middle of the night talking to Dr. J, and they kind of they're trying to basically diagnose how bad your TSW is and how much treatment you're going to need. So to do that, they need your full list of steroid usage throughout the years, which is quite difficult to do. And I felt like I was kind of trying to figure out, like, how much steroids have I used, like what potency and when, and but it was just really interesting to gauge an idea of how long I would be in TSW without some kind of invasive treatment, and how bad my steroid use had been, and like where it sat on like the potency level. I was like, oh man, like, why did I use that stuff? I think it, and also that's the best way that you can get a price for how much your treatment will be, because without that they can't really determine how long you're going to need per session and how long you have to have the treatments for. So
and it also depends on how large your area is. Like, for example, I had to do it for my whole body, whereas like someone else may just have it like in little parts of their body, and that really affects the cost as well. So I guess that's why they can't really give you a ballpark figure. It's really such a varied range. Yeah.
I feel like my skin is kind of coming on quite well. I seem to be receiving loads of compliments about how it looks, and normally I can gauge it based on that. But it definitely feels like softer and more supple, and like the movements are different. Like I start to feel like the movement of my neck is different, and obviously I've still got places which are quite bad, like my nipples are quite bad, and like arms and stuff. But I feel like the redness is coming down and the suppleness is going up, and things are changing for me.
So when I first started, I've already been on treatment for quite some time, like almost a year. And so when I first started treatment, I was doing moisturizer withdrawal, and so it started becoming super flaky. And flaking is a good sign actually, like it's because the skin is regenerating. So that's why we keep growing and shedding layers. It's like trying to recover. So I went through MW and it was like flaking all over, and after maybe about 2 months it started becoming less flaky, like I saw the flakes decreasing, and then it started becoming much softer. Yeah, and I could tell that the repair rate was much faster after that. Like usually to scab over a wound it would take like almost a week, like properly scab. Now it takes about just 1 day, like 1 to 2 days. Yeah, so I could feel that difference there. Yeah.
Your skin is Jing's skin is quite badly affected from steroids because she used a very high potency from a very early age.
Yeah, I actually had TSW as a baby. Like when I look at my baby pictures, I had 2 red raw cheeks here. I had no hair and no eyebrows, and my cheeks were like full of paraffin, like it was glistening with the paraffin cream. Yeah, so I had like TSW like literally all my life actually without knowing it, and I've used steroids since a baby till I was 18 years old. Yeah, so it took a really long time for my skin to like properly recover. Even now it's still like got bits here and there, but it's way better. Like I couldn't even walk properly when I first started treatment. I had to like limp, and it was so uncomfortable just to move any part of my body, even just like this. It was difficult. Yeah.
It's so horrible. It's not fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think in Singapore, I think it's quite difficult not to shower in Singapore because it gets sweaty and sticky and hot. So I still shower every day.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dr. J kind of encourages that, like showering every day. Sometimes he encourages showering twice a day to soften the skin.
Yeah, that's if you have moisturizer withdrawal. Yeah.
So yeah, we shower as any other normal person, but I'm not saying that it doesn't hurt because it does.
Yeah.
Vitamin C is the
Yeah.
one that Dr. J told me to take. He kind of like felt my skin. He was like, can you take some vitamin C? Like 1,000 milligrams. I was like, okay. Yeah.
He says
And that was
the
it.
antioxidant effect helps with the skin or something. Yeah. And also I took zinc.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of helped. But I felt like my energy was really low, and it affected my whole body. I was lethargic all the time, so I started taking some supplements. Not sure whether they help.
No, I mean,
But I still take them, but I'm not sure. I don't feel a difference specifically from the supplements. I just feel better generally when my skin recovers. Like I have more energy now because I'm no longer taking so much energy just to grow the skin, you know.
Yeah, and as far as washing with soaps, I think if you can stick to something that's just got a couple of ingredients in it or something with natural ingredients is fine. So I just use Balmain's body wash, which is a UK brand. And
Yeah, I don't use anything on my skin currently, but now that it's getting better and my face is producing oil, I think I need to look for something. Dr. J recommends like physio gel. body wash, so I might try it. Yeah.
I think we're going to struggle to answer that one without a doctor's input, as in Dr. J. He's explained it to both of us very scientifically with graphs and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So we'll get back to you with some graphs, etc. Just to explain, I think.
Yeah, I feel like he would do a better job of explaining it than us, because even though we understand when he explains it to us, we can't remember specifically the scientific details.
Yeah.
So I do not want to like say something that might be wrong or scare people.
Yeah. Great. I just want to say a massive thank you to Jing for joining us on this episode and taking us to lots of lovely places. Tomorrow we're going to do a little bit of filming at the gardens by the bay, and we've been to Chinatown, so we'll show you some footage from that as well. And thank you for joining us and answering questions.
You're welcome.
Yeah, she's my new friend. I don't want to come home.
And mine.
And mine. Yeah. She's our new best friend.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for having me and coming around with me to Singapore. I don't know, I really had a great time like hanging out with you guys.
Thank you for watching. Until next time.
Bye.
First question. What was your turning point to deciding to stop tropical steroids?
Tropical. Tropical steroids. Let me think.
Because I wanted to move to a temperate country.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
That's a chicken. There's a cockerel. He's coming in the shot. Oi!
Get out of our shot! Get out of our shot!
I told you it was fast. I told you it was fast.
She's gone. She's gone. Just keep saying TSW over and over again. No, they won't.